So as both AP and IB students, our group has noticed that the IB Diploma Program students are treated differently than AP students, not only by their peers, but by teachers and faculty as well, just because they are in the IB Diploma Program. So we wanted to find out why.
On average, how much homework do you have per night?
Per night, it's actually not a lot, but it's not a lot of homework assignments, but the content in each assignment is like crazy. It's like, it'll go like, all right, do this page in the notebook, but it'll be like 50 questions.
I spend a few hours doing homework.
3.5 hours.
Well, if I want to have homework, that's homework. And if I don't want to have homework, then 0.
But sometimes I'll have like, I don't know, a test in every single class, and that will be like 2 or 3 hours, but sometimes it's just like, I guess, maybe like a half an hour to an hour of homework.
Between an hour and 2 hours.
I have a lot of homework per night, but don't really do it. So I should be having about like 2-3 hours of homework, but I only do like 10 minutes.
Like 3 to 4 hours of homework.
Around 2 to 3 hours, I would say.
Do you think that IB or AP students are treated better, just in general?
I'd imagine so because, you know, as the more proficient students, the school definitely wants to make sure that the cream rises to the top, so they'd probably treat the people in the classes that are described as being better, they'd probably treat those students better.
I think teachers have an expectation, right, that you're going to meet those standards and you're in it to win it kind of thing, and and I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I feel like they have access to better teachers and smaller classes sometimes.
I think they're all treated equally as horrible.
But like for this school, there is definitely a preference towards people who are in the IB program.
There's a lot of support, like the IB office, and like you can go in there and get candy and stuff.
Yes, I think a little, okay, and that's because of the nature of the program. There's an office in this building, okay, with 3 dedicated people, right, for this group of students.
Yeah, I mean, just the way you guys treat the rest of the people in terms of being snobbish and whatnot is enough to kind of like speak for itself.
Yeah, 100%. I think IB students get better treatment, in my personal opinion. And maybe it's not their choice, but in my personal opinion, I think they get better teachers. Just saying.
Sometimes people think that IB students are better than the AP students because of like the name that they're given.
We have different teachers, like people like are in like a completely different group when you're in IB, and I feel like that's like very prevalent in our school where it's like that like, oh, those are IB kids, oh, that's an IB class. It's not like they don't like kind of intermix us very often.
I think there's a culture of sort of viewing IB as a school within a school to some extent. It was much more pronounced when I first arrived here. I've been here 8 years, where the magnet students and the IB diploma students really were very separate.
There's definitely a big like social divide. There's like a educational divide. Like we're very separate from each other. It's very kosher.
I don't think it's a social as much. I mean, I think there's a little bit of socialization that happens when kids come into new environments, and sometimes that's, maybe something to consider.
We never really interact unless you take like one IB class, but you're never with them, so it's almost like they form a little group.
The only reason you would know IB student is if you have an IB class, or
It's created a lot of like stigma between us too, like what is better.
I think that they operate in different circles that don't always intersect, and I think it would be nice to make more opportunities for AP and students and IB students and everyone else to come together and share in what they have in common.
So did you have the diploma program as an option, and if so, why did you choose not to do it, or did you just never even consider it?
did you like the IB?
Yeah, did you ever consider it?
No,
Why not?
because I'm stupid.
So do you think IB students are smarter than students who take AP classes?
No, we're all equally as stupid.
I don't get your point.
Why didn't you go into IB?
Because that's just so much work for no reason.
A lot of work, like the workload in IB was just very heavy.
A lot more work.
The coursework is so rigorous, and I already overextend myself. I take so many extracurricular activities and rigorous courses that with the IB diploma program it would probably been even worse on my mental health.
And APs are definitely challenging, don't get me wrong. It's just that I like a balance between, doing extracurricular activities as well as doing homework and making sure I get a good education.
I mean, I have people talking all the time about how much homework they have in one class versus another class, but it doesn't seem to matter whether it's AP or IB. It matters more about the teacher and the subject area.
I don't know that I would say, as I mentioned, it's more rigorous simply because of the volume and the quantity of and there's a quantity or volume, but I think it's more rigorous because of the demand and the nature of the demand over time.
Taking AP classes, which is like for a test, and it's basically IB has a lot more like TOK and like the extended essay, which really aren't that difficult. There's just like another thing added onto your classes where it just makes it more like a program.
They're supposed to be finding connections between and among their different classes, whereas the AP courses tend to be something you can just do one, or you could do two, and they're sort of more compartmentalized.
And can you describe the stereotypical IB student?
Big backpack.
Somebody I wouldn't know.
The sweatpants. Kind of the whole unintentional grunge aesthetic.
I mean, they're usually smart because they're in like the magnet program.
Rushing to classes, yeah, doing a lot of homework during lunch.
Maybe like bags under their eyes. That's
From all the studying.
yeah. Or from just staying up and then telling everyone how much they studied and how much life sucks.
It's like kind of like snobbish, and they're like, okay, like I'm an IB, I'm better than you a little bit.
The question is about the difference between the students?
Yeah, if you think there is one.
No, not really. I mean, I teach 11th grade AP and IB right now this semester. You're all the same.
You decide.
Deuces.